I have a super fun layout for you today. We are going to do a ton of stamping. So I picked up this beautiful Ethereal Rose stamp set from Altenew. I got it at a cherry on top. I have already made one layout with it and it is so fun. I'm showing you how Altenew does their layering stamps. Their layering stamps are the best for following along with and creating beautiful layered embellishments. I'm going to be using Sandcastle ink, over coffee ink, icing on the cake ink, some ginger snap ink from the Paper Person, and then I'm going to add a little bit of my favorite black ink into the mix too for some details. When you do layering stamps with Altenew, well, for anyone really, a good rule of thumb is start with your lightest color and work up to your darkest color. Do not try to stamp quickly. You want to stamp and then leave it rest a little bit. That resting period allows the ink to come in close contact with your paper and to get full coverage. A little bit of pressure, if you have a Stampin' Bug or a little stamping tool to kind of give it that little bit of pressure, it's awesome and it works fabulous. But if not, a little bit of pressure and then let it rest for a minute or two, always a good plan. I am going to alternate my colors. I'm going to alternate my stamp sets, and I'm pretty much making a large amount of embellishments for a heritage layout that we are going to create today. So I will link up this Ethereal Roses stamp set in the comments down below if it is still available at a cherry on top. I'm kind of obsessed and in love with it. It's a fabulous stamp set for those of you who are looking for stamps to a scrapbook with. There aren't any card sentiments, or there aren't any sentiments at all on this stamp set. It really is just all of these layered flowers and leaves, and you can mix them and match them, and then once you die cut them, it's like you have these gorgeous detailed floral embellishments for a scrapbook layout. Love, love, love this stamp set. Another great tip for layering stamp sets is practice, practice, practice. Grab a piece of scrap paper, grab all the inks you can think of, and do a fun little play test run as soon as you get a layering stamp, or if you have any in your stash that you haven't used yet. This allows you to get in your brain how these stamp sets layer together without messing up a project. So I have stamped and stamped and stamped with this stamp set, and now I'm really comfortable with it. I understand how to add all the layers and how things go and things like that. And that is a huge help. I think the other thing it's important to know when using layering stamps is that you want to be very familiar with your layering stamp sets, and don't go buying hundreds and hundreds of them. You don't need hundreds of them. You don't need all the new ones that come out. Altenew does amazing floral stamps like this, and if you have, 1, 2, maybe even 3 different types of flowers, that is plenty for a scrapbooker. This one, I cannot say enough good things about. I absolutely just love it. I love how the flowers turn out. I love how beautiful they look on layouts. This stamp set is very, very quickly becoming one of those stamp sets that I would recommend for anyone that wants to add to their stash scrapbooking stamps that they will use over and over again. This one is just fabulous. So I am going to stamp away here. I'm going to create lots of these layered flowers. I am choosing all shades of these antique browns because we're going to do a heritage layout today. So I am going to go ahead and stamp and die cut lots of these kind of antique looking roses and the green leaves. And then I'm going to die cut them all, and then we'll get to our layout. So now we are ready to go. I have put together some products here that I definitely wanted to use with my heritage photo and all of these flowers. The first one is this gorgeous fabric tape from 49th and Market. This particular gingham fabric tape, it was part of the August cherry box, but I also have a couple other fabric tapes from 49th and Market. They're so much fun and so cool, and they make a layout come together super quick. Plus, this isn't, you get a whole roll of this fabric tape. So that means that you don't ever have to worry about running out of like the gingham pattern paper or, all of those. These products individually, these rolls are not the cheapest thing on the market. So I would definitely recommend grabbing the rolls that are the most versatile for you. So if you go and you look at the fabric tapes, find one that you think, yes, I will use this over and over and over and over again. It adds so much texture and it is so fun. You really will use it over and over and over again. I'm going to go ahead and add a branding strip here. Now, most of this actually gets covered up, but I needed a landing spot to kind of, almost like a shelf, to kind of layer all of my flowers over. So that was what I decided there. Now I'm going to go ahead and play with this wood grain paper. This is just, it's in my stash. It is super thin, kind of, it looks like a really thin wood. And I'm going to go ahead and use it to back my photo with. This is another one of the photos of my grandfather as a baby. He was so cute. He had the chubbiest little cheeks. I love this photo. And I did another one with this cherry box, another heritage page of my grandfather with my great-grandmother. And these two pages, they're going to complement each other and they'll be side by side in my heritage album. So I'm going to go ahead and then I'm also going to layer this photo up on one of these laser cut pieces here. I wanted to use this frame, and I think the frame is, maybe it's a true 4x6. I'm not sure, but it layered up really nice, just like that. So that's how we're going to kind of map my photo. And I'm going to place it right there. This layout is going to come together really quick. I used a really easy design. I can't say that. This layout did not come together really quick because I stamped all the flowers. So most of the time that's in this layout is definitely stamping the flowers. But I love to stamp and I love how these flowers turned out. So it's all good. Put my photo right over the top, and now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna create a border across my page. Now I don't want this border to be straight, but I'm gonna start out with it being straight. So I am just alternating all the different sized flowers, and I'm starting with almost like a base, and that way I can kind of see how much room I have, how many extras I have. I was really scared I was going to have to stamp more flowers, if I'm being truthful, but it turned out that I was okay. So I'm just going to go through here. I'm going to get down like an initial base of all these beautiful flowers. They are not going to look like this when we're all done. This is just a base. This is like the little tuck spots at the beginning of creating a cluster. I'm going to go ahead and make this border much more fluid and much more layered. But this is just the beginning of that process. I'm kind of alternating the way that the flowers face. I'm alternating which flowers I'm using. There's 3 or 4 different sizes of roses, and I want to make sure I kind of alternate all of them. I'm also going to set aside a couple of these flowers to create just a little bit of an embellishment cluster down at the bottom and up at the top. Again, just kind of getting those base pieces in place. And then I can come in with these little buds and the flowers. I love the buds. They're so cute. And you can see now how this border is going to kind of become much more organic. Once I start to add the leaves and the buds in, it's going to kind of bring it to life. So I'm just going to take all these leaves and buds. I'm going to tuck them in. I'm going to tuck them around the flowers. It's going to create this kind of pop of green. Now I have gone with a very kind of neutral color palette for this layout. I love the idea of a neutral kind of antique rose feel for this layout. And since I'm doing a baby picture, I felt like that gingham really kind of pulled in some of that old vintage antique photo feel, and it a little bit of baby. So the gingham adds a little bit of baby without the baby being overwhelmingly so. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So now that I have all the flowers exactly where I want them, I'm going to go ahead and trim up my edges so that I can see what my layout looks like. I didn't trim off much, but I did push some of the flowers off the edge, just because that always makes things look better. I'm sure there is a design rule or reason why, but having things go off the edge of your scrapbook page always makes it look better. The next thing I decided is that I really want to use one of these antique lace laser cut elements. Again, that to me just kind of gives that baby feel without being overwhelmingly themey. So I'm going to put that across the top. And again, it's just going to add that kind of soft, sweet feel to the whole layout. Also, I am obsessed with these lacy laser cut die cuts from 49th and Market. They are amazing. There's always like 1 or 2 in each of their laser cut element pages. But in the Spectrum Sorbet collection, they have a whole, I think it's like a whole pack of laser cut embellishments that are a whole page of those lacy cuts. And I love them. They're so cute. So I'm not going to waste any of this lace. I have it going across the top, and then I'm going to add a second area with the offcuts of that lace border, just to kind of, so that it's not just in one spot on the page. So there's a bunch up at the top that goes all the way across, and then we're going to add just a little touch of it down at the bottom. If you wanted this page to have more photos, you could create the top part and the top banner part and the bottom part with the stamped flowers, and then fill in that middle part with photos. You could probably do like 4 3x4 photos across the top, and then if you wanted to add a 5th one, you could add like an accent photo down at the bottom, where in the lower left hand side of the page, or you could add journaling there. There's lots of things you could add there. I am grabbing these washi stickers. All the products except for the stamps were from the August cherry box. So if you have that cherry box, I'm pretty sure it's sold out, but if you have it, this would be a great kind of photo configuration or layout design that you could do. I love these washi stickers. They're so fun, so cool. I never would have thought to try them if they hadn't come in my cherry box, and I really like them. I'm going to add a couple of little words and some of those butterflies. Since my photo is black and white, adding the black and white kind of sketchy elements to this page is going to make the photo feel more like it kind of fits in. We have a lot of kind of brown, neutral, antique tones going on. Adding that little pop of black and white really kind of steps up the whole design a little bit. So some of the words that I added to this layout were life glimpse and wonder. I also have one that says in the moment. And then I do want to add a little bit of, I want to say, not journaling, but journaling-ish. I am going to add a couple more little chipboard elements to add a bit of dimension. And because I'm trying really hard to use these chipboard pieces up. They aren't bad, though, I gotta say. I might be warming up to these pretty chipboards. I'm adding some hearts and some of the little butterflies. I needed just a couple more butterflies. And then all those little pieces of the stamp pieces that the offcuts, I'm going to add those back in because you know what? When you stamp as many flowers as I stamp for this layout, you use every little bit of those stamped flowers. I want to add a little bit, I want to, at the very least, annotate the date. So I'm going to kind of look here for a little tab that I can use to add that. And once I have that in place, I can tuck it up under my photo and we'll be all finished. I do not have a date for this photo, but I know the year my grandfather was born. So I kind of can tell because I'm a mom and I've had babies. I can kind of tell like maybe what age he is. So we're gonna mark this one as a circa date because I just have no definite idea as to what year this was or anything like that. But I know who it is, so that's good, right? Thank you so much for joining me today. I just got a bump of subscribers, which makes me so happy. So if you are new here, welcome. I'm so very glad you're here. Thank you so much for choosing to come along with me on my scrapbooking adventures, and I hope you have a fabulous time. See you all soon. Bye.